with Loco-Motion. I'm here to present you a functional movement series that I'm going to call Round and Around. We're going to look at circular movements that are initiated from the center out. In order to have large mobility into the extremity, we need to have a secure stability into the center of the body. So we're going to explore subtle movements into the core that become large and expressive movements into the arm, as opposed to having large movements into the arm that are independent or disconnected from core activity. So what you're going to need for this series is maybe a road map. We're going to do some movements where we are on our knees. So if your knees are sensitive, that might be nice to have that. And I always like to have a couple of blocks around with the idea that if you find yourself reaching for the floor, creating a strain on your body, you can always use a block to bring the ground up and make any movements more available or easier. So get what you need and we'll get started. We're going to start with our warm-up flexibility flow. Sit yourself in what I call the S curve, so the two legs are bent. And I'm going to use my belly button as a way to move from left to right in a circular motion. So let's practice a transition. I'm going to extend my right leg out. I will turn my belly, which will bring my leg all the way around. Then I plant my hands, and I'm going to end up in a position such as this. Now I can have my foot by my ankle, by my knee, or all the way forward, depending on the opening of my hips. And here, this is where I'm going to lean into my hands and create rotation into the pelvis to warm up the lumbar spine. And I'm going to roll for about 3 circles. And then my transition, I extend my right leg. Now move your belly button and your arms to the center. Lean into your hands, switch your feet around, and keep going with your hands so that the belly button turns, the leg follows, and again we end up in our position, which is either a 1, 2, or 3, and we create some circles that are initiated below the belly button, right around the sacrum and the hip joint. And you make these movements as graceful and as delicious as possible without working hard and working with the movement that is available. So here we go, transition. Left leg out, big circle. Follow with the hands, lean into the hands, switch the legs. Follow through with the hands, and the leg continues all the way around and roll. Nice circles. You can also anchor your elbow with your leg to go a little bit deeper, whatever you need here. And then transition, leg out, big circle, follow through. Now take a moment here to lean into your hands and feel that opening into the groin as you switch your legs out. Keep going with the hands all the way around. Bring the foot and circles. That's it. Make it yummy, make it delicious. Let the head follow around. And transition. Leg around, leg. Follow with the belly. Lean into the hands. Feel that opening into the groin. Switch the legs. Continue with the hands. Follow through with the foot. And rotation. And in the next transition, we're going to see if we can play without the hands. You can always go back to the hands, where you can try to pop up. Switch the hands, sit back down, and go back to your original position. Let's do that again. Leg, pop up, switch the legs, back down. Hands support you for you to bring the leg around. So if you've got that, you can choose now if you want to go into the hand switch or the without the hand transition, whatever feels available. So let's go into it. Hands or no hands transition, bring the leg around, and this time lean into your hands in a way that you pop your pelvis up and then thread the leg through. So you're going to feel that stretch right into the glutes and into the low back. take time, sit back down, transition with or without the hands, pop up and in, bring the leg all the way around, and then again lift up. Now this is where you could use the blocks. If you feel like the ground is too far away, just grab your blocks and do this part elevated. When you go to sit back down, thread your leg through, meet the floor, transition, pop up, open up the ground, switch your legs, sit back down, spin around, and again, lean into your hands and thread. Now let your head hang and feel the rounding of your upper back and lower back like an angry cat. Sit down, last transition, with or without the hands. Enjoy that hip groin opening, transition, pop up, and thread. In the next transition, we're gonna hang out here. So come on up into your pop up, and then hang out here for a little bit. Get that nice pelvis forward stretch without cramming your lower back. Stay nice and long. And then sit back down, bring that left leg around, and watch here. I'm gonna go into my hands, lean into my hands. I'm gonna walk all the way around so that I sit with the opposite leg through and twist. Take a nice breath, enjoy the twist. And again, so feel how my hands move, my belly button moves. Now I take my hands around, my belly button keeps moving, my belly keeps turning, and then I'm back in my original position and I twist. Enjoy the twist. Then let's take that left leg back out, transition through that open groin position, sit back down, and then now the right leg is coming over, and I'm going to spin around. I lean into my hands, come up, walk the hands around, spin the feet, come through, and enjoy the twist. Sweet and delicious. We're not pushing anything at this stage. And spin around. We're going back to the original position where we started. Threaded through and twist. Moving into our flexibility, mobility portion, go ahead and grab your folded mat, come up onto your knees, and we're going to go from this camel position, open, supported, back into a squat. So let's explore camel. Remember, the pelvis is moving forward, and you can contract your glutes somewhat to protect your lower back. The ribs are opening, and I feel my arm line extending from my belly up into the hands without reaching. Now to transition backwards, I come onto my toes, and I do the opposite. I cave in, I circle, I scoop my pelvis back. I'm going to put my hands into the ground and push back into my rounded squat. And here I go ahead and walk and open and explore. We'll do it with the hands a couple of times, and then give you the option without the hands if that's where you're at. To come back into my knees, lean into my hands, put my knees down, settle my feet, and then uncurl all the way up into my open camel. Now round, as if sometimes I feel like I'm gonna go put a big cape on, and so I put my cape in, I lean back into my hands, push back into my squat, enjoy that moment, walk, really explore the mobility that's available, lean forward, and the reverse format, uncurl, wave out the whole motion. If you're ready to try without the hands, you just have to exaggerate this rounding movement. Really open the back, open the space between the shoulder blade so that you end up onto onto your heels and enjoy that position. And same thing, imagine that you're gonna open a curtain and come through. So with or without the hands, roll in, cave in, scoop everything back, find your squat. And this is a hanging squat. We're just really letting the pelvis go down. And then open up that curtain and uncurl everything up. 2 more times, with or without the hands, lean back. The back of the neck is also long. Find your squat. Come forward. You can move slower or faster, depending on what it is that you're looking to get. Using the hands for support, if that's what feels delicious. And up. Sit back, enjoy downward a child's pose, and rest. And go ahead and come up. And this time, again onto our knees, onto our cushy mat. We're gonna kick one leg out. And remember I talked at the beginning about churning the body, a subtle, deep core movement for an arm expression. So here I'm gonna feel like my belly is turning to the right and then turning to the left. And as I do that, my arms are gonna express the movement that's happening into my core. So the arms are simply following through the movement that I feel is happening really deep, and I'm not moving so much from my axis. So I'm not moving into my leg or moving back. I'm staying on my plumb line, and I'm creating that deep core movement for my arms to express that similar movement over here. Now into the next one, I go all the way down into my left hand, and I'm gonna create that same half circle with my whole body. Now I can stay here or kick my legs open and again look for that semicircle, and I'm gonna spin this around. So I'm gonna land to my hand and then bounce into my knees, and again come up into a reverse half circle. I can of course have my leg here for support. Kick back in, spin it around, half circle. I really want to feel that right body extension, and it's supple into the limbs while it's working really hard into the core. Spin that leg back down. Now use this contraction onto the side body to bring you back up. And we switch. Kick out the left leg and spin. It's like really like you're churning butter inside your belly. You're working hard in the deep core so that the arms feel really mobile from that super solid stability into the center body. And then in the next one, I'm going to go all the way into the ground. So again, I'm using my body to support my hand all the way down. Once I find the ground, either I stay with my leg onto the ground or kick up and want to feel for that half circle, like I'm elevating my side body. I'm going to spin it around and spin it back. Feel that height, whether you have your knee on the ground or not, let's all meet there and use that contraction into the side body to lift you up so that the arms don't work at all, and back into the center. Let's do that again. Kick out the leg, churn the butter. The arms are graceful because the core is working hard all the way to the ground. Kick up, either with your leg onto the ground or the leg off the ground. Feel that half circle. Really get that little bouncing into the knees to spin it around. Nothing is rigid. We're looking for fluidity in movement, connectivity in movement. Kick the leg out. Use that contraction to spin you up. Switch your legs. Other side. Churn the butter. breathing out, smiling. On the next one, all the way down. Land softly, up halfway. Fluid transition to the other side. Down and up. Kick the leg out and float your arms back up. Sit back down, child's pose, in rest. Coming back up. And again, for our last mobility motion here, we're going to kick the leg out and bend it. So start to feel that opening into the groin. Little bouncy. Feel like you're meeting your edge softly. Lean back, forward, back. Like you're trying to go and sit onto your heel. Using your hand as an expression of the body. So the core is opening, my arm open. The core leans back, my arms come back. The center is driving, and the outside is moving around it. So lean into that right leg, hand on the ground. This is where you might want to reach for your block. Hand on the ground, come up, and we're going to aim for that same half circle that we were doing earlier. And up. The motion is initiated into the center. My arms are creating that half circle. Up. And up. And on the next one, I'm coming all the way down. Lean, down, and up. Switch my legs. Kick out. Feel that groin opening. Feel that space in between, a little bouncy. And then we're going to move back. Move back, forward, back to center. I can bring my block around with me, lean into my legs until I kick up. Find that same half circle. And turn. The belly's working hard while the arms are having fun. Breathe in, breathe out. All the way down. Get that nice opening, half circle. And then kick the leg, meet in the middle, and child's pose. Well-deserved mini rest. Alright, we're going to move into the mobility agility portion. I'm going to show you the base sequence. We're going to go from plank, tuck and roll, plank, tuck and roll, plank. And you can stick to this base sequence and do it 10 times at your own rhythm, or follow me, and every time we get to plank, I'm going to add something and build it up so that we have a full sequence by the end. So let's get warmed up. I'm going to come into a forward plank. And from my forward plank, I'm going to dip my knees, dip my shoulders, roll over my sacrum and my shoulder blades until I land into my plank again. Now in my plank, I do want to feel like, again, it's my belly sinking back that's holding me up. And I'm not sinking, so I'm not sinking or sagging into my joint. I use my belly to hold me up. And from there, I tuck onto the side of my hip, use my legs, and back into my plank. I do also want to use my head and look at where I'm going so that I easily transition from side to side. So that's our base sequence that I'm going to be adding on to. So let's get a little bit of an arm stretch. Stretching the arms back and across. Shaking the hands. And here we go. So we start into our plank position. In here, we're going to go forward and back 3 times. Hold my plank, tuck and roll. Use momentum to tuck and roll. Plank, forward and back. 3 times. Tuck and roll. And plank. Now I'm going to start with my base motion, forward and back 3 times, and add. I'm going to come up onto my hands for a full plank, back down into my forearms. Up, down, last time, down. Hold plank, tuck and roll. Same sequence, forward and back. 2, 3, up and down. 1, 2, use your belly to lift you up. Down, hold plank, tuck and roll. Start from the top, forward and back. 2, 3, up and down, use your belly. 2, and 3. From here, we're gonna add side plank open, forearm twist, and use your belly. Your belly wants to look up and your arm follows. 3, hold your plank, tuck, roll, hold, forward and back. 2, 3, up and down. Now you can do it just once and then wait for us. In this whole sequence, you could also have your knees on the ground and be supported this way. Turn the belly. The belly button wants to look up and the arm follows. Hold, tuck, roll, child's pose. Come up, shake the arms, good work. Now we're gonna add one movement to the sequence before we put it all together into a round and around. So it's a tabletop dip. I prefer starting with the blocks. You can always take them off. You can have them at different height depending on your flexibility and mobility. So we're gonna meet up in tabletop. Look at your knees and get your feet right underneath your knees, so they're not forward and they're not back, right underneath. And you look up, open up. You want to feel like you're opening your sternum like a book, and you're using your glutes to tighten up a little bit so that you can push up while protecting your back. So here, I'm going to reverse my tabletop, cave in. So I roll my feet, I cave in my belly, and I come back. And I dip up, dip back. And the head is coming along for the ride. So make sure that when you get to the top, you get that feeling right as you're about here, where you're popping your sternum forward, you're opening up your shoulders, you're lifting your belly button, and then dipping back. Look at your belly button. So we're arching and caving. 3 more times. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. Last time, hold it. Hold your dip, and bring yourself down. Okay, so to wrap this up in our agility portion, we're gonna bring all of these movements together and create a round and around motion. So let's all start into downward dog. Get a nice stretch there. Then push back into plank. Hold your plank and spin it to your side plank. Now again, this can be with the leg down or the leg up. Now dip your feet all the way out and come up into your tabletop. Spin to side plank. Spin to plank. Hold plank. Downward dog, get a nice stretch. And we go the other way. Plank. Side plank to the right. Spin around, dip to tabletop. To side plank. To plank. To downward dog. You can go into a child's pose if you need. And in here, you can get playful and make this motion continuous. Or go into stages just like we did on the first time. Spin it around and around, pausing anywhere it feels good to pause. Cleared lines of force. Last time, plank, tabletop, plank side, plank straight, downward dog. All right, let's go into a well-deserved stretch and cool down. You might want to have your blocks handy for this one as well. So lizard, I'm going to bring my hands down and my foot outside of my left. My other knee is on the ground and my foot is resting. And then from here, I'm going to come into my forearms. So if you want to use your blocks, it would look like this. And you let your head hang and your back round. And then you play into that position and go ahead and let your left leg, the one that's bent, fall out as you rock into your depth. Now other options here would be to come up onto my opposite arm and give a little push without straining anything, without forcing to my open leg. I can also lift up and look into that way, coming back into my forearms, and let that leg limp and fall open. Breathing in into the opening and exhaling into the depth. To come out, come up onto your hands and open up so that the leg that's on the ground now is getting that opening while my foot is well planted. And then lean back. Bring your blocks with you to get a nice stretch straight into that leg. So sit back. Flex your foot and stretch that leg. And coming up, switch your feet. So now my right foot is outside of my hands. I extend my other leg back and I'm going to come up onto my forearms while letting my right leg roll open. And I'm rocking from hip to hip to get that opening, sweet and delicious, opening into different parts of my body. Rounding the back like an angry cat. Softening the breath here, maybe looking up and having a slight presence of the hand. So it's as if I want to take my quad with my hand and roll it open to open up the hip. So the higher up on my leg that I place my hand, the deeper the effect into the hip socket. And it's very slight. I'm not forcing anything. It's a gentle invitation to roll the head of the hip bone right into the center of the socket. I can look up, come back into my forearms, hang, and breathe. Rock back and forth. And then to come out, I come into my hands, I plant my foot so that I can open the leg that's straight onto the ground. And then bring my blocks with me and sit back with a long leg stretch. And back into the center. Opening up the shoulders. I'm going to lay down onto my belly and bring my right arm underneath my body. And so I really want to roll so that I'm onto the deltoids. And here I'm going to use my other hand here to create that opening and rest my head and my whole body weight onto my triceps and deltoids. So it's the weight of your body that you're allowing onto the arm that deepens the stretch. push up and roll over onto the other side. Take a moment to really get those muscles that you want to stretch under your body weight. Use this hand here to create that opening and allow your body to soften so that your body weight gets deeper and the stretch gets more efficient. So in order for a muscle to stretch, it has to relax. So notice any contractions that you can let go of that allows the muscle to lengthen and open. Transitioning out, let's go back to the other side. This time, open your arms like a T, and I'm going to roll back. I extend my arm from my body, and I'm going to roll back onto the open hand with my foot here into the back to go deeper, and feel the stretch now to the front of the shoulder. Soften, open, breathe, rock back and forth. Transition easily to the other side and just rolling your body over the right shoulder, the left shoulder. And it's these gentle rocks back and forth that will allow you to target different angles of the shoulder girdle. And then rolling back up. So last stretch here, grab your rolled yoga mat, put it onto your bum, open up your legs, but keep them bent and just walk your sitting bones over to the front edge as if you're falling off the yoga mat. And what we want to have here is that the knees are bent enough so that my torso can come through my pelvis. And from here, I use my hands like walking spiders to extend the muscles up to the low back. And then if it becomes possible to lengthen the legs and to strengthen the legs from that position, you may do so. And then rest. Wherever you feel the stretch is yummy and delicious. Let the head get heavier and heavier. To feel that lengthening into the lumbar spine. You can come up a little bit to deepen the dip. And it doesn't matter if you're even just right here. What we want is to feel, if you're all the way up, what we want is to feel like the torso is coming through before rounding. And then keeping that mat where it is, place it under the sacrum and roll back with a little cushiness under your sacrum, and rest in that position with your knees, inner knee points touching, the feet are wide, the arms are open, and let the femur bones and the shoulder bones drop their tone so that you feel like the heaviness of your bones is allowing your body to flop open onto the ground. So this wraps up our round and around functional movement series. Go ahead and apply these principles of moving from the center out to everyday movements, such as cutting carrots, picking up a child off the ground, washing your hair, holding onto your steering wheels, and you'll see that by using core to peripheral movement, you'll be more efficient with your movement, more graceful, and more connected. Then remember that it's by developing flexibility, mobility, and agility into our container, our body, that we can then transfer the same principles to our thoughts or emotions in our everyday interactions. So have a play with that, and see you again soon at Loco-Motion.